Hello Chosen, and welcome back to the channel. The message of this video is when nature calls. Okay, as you can see the lush greenery in front of me, Mother is calling on you. Okay, Mother is calling you to be more connected to her, to spend more time outdoors. Okay, this is going to help to cleanse and purge the old, okay, and bring forth the new body. So you need to make more time to get outdoors. For those of you, obviously if you're on this channel, I'm sure those of you are already, who are connected to the channel, are probably already outdoors. But for those of you who are transitioning and teetering into this space and leaving the matrix behind, I'm encouraging you to get outdoors, get more time outdoors, okay? What is nature? Nature could be just right there in your front yard, okay? More high vibrational places would be you taking a trip to your local mountains, you walking through the forest, you going down to the ocean, you know, if you're not in a space that's high vibrational. But know that nature is really all around you, okay? And to connect with it. For the past couple days, I've been beginning to have my sensitivity to plants and trees again. They have been grabbing me and touching me every time I come into their presence, wanting me to acknowledge them. And I say, yes, I acknowledge you. And I always, you know, pay homage to them every day, give thanks for all of creation, to Mother Earth, to the plants that supply our very oxygen, that helps sustain our physical bodies. So they have just been, you know, just hugging me, just grabbing on to me as I've been coming past them. So this is a call for the chosen to spend more time outdoors. Now, one thing that I can tell you, for like, probably it started maybe like 6-7 years ago, I had tapped into Nature Boy, right? And if you're not familiar with him, go check them out. They were called Carbonation at one time, then Melanation. They have YouTube videos. They're probably on all the social media platforms, but I know them to be on YouTube and on Instagram. But basically, you know, Nature Boy and his tribe has come across some legal problems, as well as some tribal problems, you know, as well as, I believe, some infiltrations that occurred that weakened the movement. So I don't want you guys, there's a whole bunch of tons of bad media on Carbonation and Nature Boy, rightfully so. However, the brother's message is sound and on point. We do know that when our people begin to awaken, there are attacks. And if you're not that aware of it, you know, in these monitoring spirits and these, what do you call them? Secret societies, and these, what do you call them? These, they have, what do you call them? Spies. They third eye spies, you know, who work for the government and work around the clock for the demise of any black organization or people that are trying to rise. So I don't think he had that great of awareness, or perhaps his, I think they know going in what they might be facing, but they really don't know on what level. So that's when you see all of the greats that sprout up with these movements, they begin to decline or vanish or fall, and they lock up the leaders. So just check the man out, check out the message. You know, he has, this is a message of the ages, right? But he was one of the frontiers of the new age in the last 10 years to really bring this wisdom and knowledge to the forefront and stamp it. So just check out him without really dealing with the person and you know, the idiosyncrasies of the person in the group. You know, just see forth the message that they were given. I promise the message will be liberating if you can catch it. You know, you got to go into these certain spaces and chew the meat and spit out the bones, okay? So his whole thing was a call back to nature. you know, and he had left America, went into the jungles of all these different exotic places or high vibrational places in the jungles of South America. Yeah, throughout South America. I think that's pretty much where he was at. He was in South America. He was in Costa Rica, Panama, Mexico, and a few other places, Belize, you know. And his whole thing at the core was just getting back to nature and getting in tuned with it, right? As that's what Mother is calling forth for the chosen, right? There's so much power, so much wisdom in nature. We do know that we're living in something that is corrupt, a man-made matrix, right? And in order for us to return back to our original state, we must turn back to Mother. She is calling. It is a mandate for the kingdom to return back to nature, okay? And her wisdom. Her wisdom is all around you. You just pay attention, you know what I mean? And as you begin to return to her, she is going to begin to heighten your senses, your perception, your understanding. Because you say, how am I going to connect with her? How am I going to get wisdom from her? The wisdom is through, number one, just connecting with her. Once you connect with her, over time, you become sensitive to her and her messages. Okay? You will be. Again, so much power and so much wisdom, so much transformative energy within her. What is going to restore Mayat? Restore the tribe of Judah, right? Restore all these terms that we use for the restoration of the black man and black woman on this planet, right? She has the power to do that, okay? Through connection. So let me just give you a little story time. So as I begin to connect with Nature Boy, right? And begin to do some of the practices and just begin to be enlightened, because this is a journey. It's not something that can happen overnight. But though we are in an accelerated time, for some, it might not take overnight, you know. There has to be a cleansing and a purging, you know what I mean, for you to become recalibrated to nature, opposed to the calibration that you currently have, which is to the fake man-made matrix. There's a recalibration period, and then from there, acceleration begins. Okay, so I started off about 7 years ago, really tapping into it, really understanding it on one level. But I knew it was a time coming, right, where I knew my body wasn't just getting what it needed. It wasn't getting enough oxygen. It wasn't getting enough light. You know, I was living in an apartment building with about 2 windows in my little apartment, right? One in the living room and one in the bedroom, right? Then I left from there, moved to another place. And in this place I moved to, right, it was an older home, and they had older windows which were made out of glass. And for some reason, I think when they painted around the window sills, they painted the windows shut. So I was pretty much stuck with windows that had been shut. Then I had like 2 screen doors, which was good and helpful. One in the front of the house and one in the back of the house, but that still wasn't enough oxygen. You have to understand that it was not meant for us to be indoors all day in these structures that they are building for us to live in, right? In certain places, for the most part. Most of the old structures that are still existing in these old cities that refuse to progress and move forward, right? They have these old buildings, right, that they are housing people in and still renting out. So they're not built with the new consciousness of, you know, being more nature friendly, you know, more windows, solar panels, more light, you know, and things like that. So I say that to say that being in these old buildings, my body wasn't getting enough. I was eating healthy and everything, or about as healthy as I could eat at the time, or that I thought I should be. I was eating lighter. I'm still eating a bit of what we call junk food or whatever, but really minimizing junk food. But I was eating it, and I was mixing it with healthy food, right? But Mother is calling us to, we have to get to the point where we have dominion over our taste buds, okay? This is part of the recalibration, leaving the matrix. The matrix has tons of enticing things that are enticing our taste buds, right? But they are not food. This stuff is perpetrating as food. It is not food, okay? And the more you begin to connect to mother and you are leaving the matrix and moving more into mama, those foods, they have no nutritional value, and in fact, they're going to start attacking your body because you're awakening, right? And then on top of that, you need more natural things. You need things that come directly up out of mama, her things. You need the roots. You need to be eating potatoes, right? You need to be eating carrots. You need to be juicing beets, apples, fruits, vegetables. You're going to need to completely turn your diet that way. This is part of the calibration. Like I said, we don't look at what other people are doing. Some people were able to do it like boom. All right. For me, it's been a process of the more light and knowledge and wisdom that I've gotten from mother, the more able I was, the more ability I had to leave the fake stuff behind. Okay, so don't be hard on yourself. Know that this is a process, okay, a recalibration, okay, but you are supported, okay? So the call is to, if you ain't quite where you need to be adding more of these things to your diet and reducing those fake foods, okay? And the stronger you get, the more you can rid yourself of it. Okay, the more then you can even get off of potatoes, right? Which is something that you have to cook, which potatoes I believe is actually fine to cook. Don't quote me on this, but from where I stand, I believe that potatoes, because like I said, we're moving more into raw things that are alive, right? Like this vegan thing, more live foods. So try to reduce the amount of cooked vegetables that you eat, right? But a potato, things that are meant to be cooked, then yes, cook them and just don't add anything to them. Maybe a little bit of natural salt, right? Natural herbs and spices you can add to it, and what I used to do in my beginning stages was add some cheese to it. You know what I mean? Because cheese to me made every vegetable taste better. I was able to get more vegetables in my diet. But I encourage you to also just limit your cheese intake if you're a cheesehead like I was, okay? Just, a half a slice. And I mean, the potato will be immaculate and amazing. And potatoes are very filling. They can hold you pretty much throughout the day, okay? And you load it up, put some spinach on it, you know what I mean? And it's lit. And one thing that is really bad for us, you guys, that I've really now come into the knowledge and wisdom of is these condiments, okay? Ketchup, even if you get an organic ketchup, organic mustard, organic salad dressings, no. Try to do the best you can, but you're going to be moving into eating your vegetables and fruits without condiments, because those condiments have all type. I used to like Caesar dressing. I get my salad and then I get me some Caesar, make me a Caesar salad, right? And that stuff got all type of other byproducts and things that ain't totally natural and whole. So I was still being stagnated in my in my body because I was still eating these unnatural things, topping it off on top of my my natural foods. Okay, so if you can, yes, lighten up on the salad dressings, lighting up on the toppings. Way back in the day, I used to have to add bacon, chicken to it. I was eating salads, but I was adding, say something like bacon full of salt, sodium, and more than likely you're getting a fake processed bacon, so just adding things that turned the salad into, it was a good start for me because I was eating more vegetables now, but it still wasn't optimal. Like I said, as you begin to grow in your awakening, you're going to have to start lessening and leaving those things behind. All right. Eventually, where I believe we will be going into a place of no food. We're completely purifying the temple till we get it to where we actually can live without food. You know what I mean? Or rather live with very little food, eating every couple of days, because we got to clean this body out and keep it pure. Because again, these things that we're buying in the supermarket, even though they're labeled organic kale, organic this, if you haven't grown them, you truly don't know. And they go through so much, they go through so many changes before they get to the grocery shelf, through the packaging and even the people that touch the food, with their vibrations. So until you can grow your own garden and stuff like that. And that's another thing Mother is calling us to do. She's calling us to learn the art of agriculture and of planting, sowing and reaping, sowing and harvest. Okay, that is a big kingdom principle. Okay, so yes, leaving those processed foods alone and moving more into whole food. Not only that, as I was living in these older buildings, I was not getting enough oxygen. My body wasn't powered. You need more sunlight, okay? Sunlight and oxygen. This is something I knew for a couple of years, but I didn't know how I was going to make the transition. Nature Boy, he was pushing to the tropics, right? So I had actually took a trip to the tropics, but it was too humid there and too wet for me. My body get weighed down from too much water, too much humidity in the atmosphere. And that might be because I'm predominantly water element, right? So I don't know if that has any bearing on that revelation, which was that the tropics didn't work for me because I would feel weighed down and oppressed, and even my skin was beginning to rip in the tropics from the humidity. Okay, so I knew that I needed something more dry, right? As I connected this to the spirits of the desert in ancient Egypt, you know, that was a dry place, right? Though there was water there, it was mostly a dry place. So I began to leave the idea of moving to the tropics alone because I felt how my body felt there and how my body was reacting to it. And I said, I definitely need to be to where the sun is. And now also in the tropics has a lot of clouds as well, you know, and fogginess because of the rain. So I said, no, my body required direct sunlight. I need to go where the sun is piping. And that is where that's pretty much the southwestern part of the United States, but also not where there is no rain. Okay, so these are the places where God is calling us to. Okay, I didn't know how I was going to do that because, you know, out west is a little bit more expensive. And then, you know, I'm still thinking on matrix term, I got to get a house, I got to do this, I got to have all this stuff. No. Okay, you got your vehicle, you got your money, you got your plane ticket, hop on a plane, get out here, connect with me. I'm here. I am a frontier, a pioneer, and us coming where we need to be, where we can be charged, where we can think clearer. People tend to be more happy here. People who are not, well, they're melanated, but people who are not black, they are here and they seem to be happy. It seems to be less violence in this area, right? Because the sun is here. Sun equals serotonin, more serotonin, right? Equals more melatonin, right? So your sleep cycles will begin to come in harmony as well. Rising with the sun and going down with the sun, okay? And more happiness, more energy. When the sun is behind you, you can accomplish your goals and destiny. We're not able to come together and do the things that we all desire because we are not backed by the sun. We are in low vibrational places on the planet, okay? So I'm calling you forth to come out and connect to nature out west, the sun, where she beams and she shines all day. Okay. Also a problem that I was facing was, and the way that I knew that I was having a problem was I couldn't rise without the sun. On sunny days in my area, I had no problem getting up early. But when it took hours, like up until noon for the sun to come forth, I couldn't get up. On days when the sun was shining, I felt no pain in my body. I knew I needed to be more connected to the sun. Egypt is all about the sun, right? They all hold the solar discs on top of their heads. It's some connection that we have to this sun. It's a power source for us, okay? Then, again, realizing when I used to take my walks in the forest, I was having more energy and feeling better after I would go and take a walk amongst all the plants, okay? So after being in these houses closed up, I'd be in there, like, again, I couldn't rise until the sun came up. So then when I finally would make it out the door, right? Or I would start to feel instantly better and energized and ready to start my day. Now, I would do this also now to test out the amount of oxygen that I was consuming. I brought plants into the house. I would see that as soon as I brought flowers and plants into the house, right? The ones that were uprooted from outside, right? I would bring them in. So they weren't still in soil. So it's natural for them to die once they're uprooted, right? Until they're re-rooted, can you bring them back to life, right? So I begin to bring flowers in and see that they would die instantly. The environment wasn't vibrating. We are nature. So if this environment that I was in, this apartment, wasn't good for the flower, it can't be good for me, right? So then I would begin to go outdoors even when I felt tired and I felt like I couldn't rise when the sun was rising, and I would go outdoors and instantly, even if it was cloudy, I would feel better. That's the power of Mother Nature and being outdoors. I encourage you, you know, for those of you who are still recalibrating and exiting the matrix, to find you work that is outdoors. That will be very beneficial to you. If not just yet, then just make sure every day that you're spending time out on your front porch or walking around your property, you know, but you got to connect with her. And she will begin to purge you and move you more in the direction of where you need to be. Okay? So we just talked about the power of the sun, the atmosphere, okay? And then water. Let's talk about this water, okay? The importance of the chosen getting into water, these elements. If you can, you know, even if you don't have a filter on your shower head, the importance of water is heavy to wash away all the pollutants that you collect on a daily basis when you're in these industrialized cities or in these factory jobs. All that pollution is coming on you and it's affecting you. So, you know, whenever you're feeling down, you need to hop in that water, take a spiritual bath, sit down, and or even a shower. Some people live in places where there are you don't have a bath, you just have a shower stall. Get in there and get you some soaps that have lots of herbs in it. You know what I mean? If you can't prepare yourself your own natural herbal bath, which will begin to be the norm for you once you recalibrate and you come more closer to nature. But for now, getting you a good soap that has herbs in it and taking you a shower, you know, before you go to bed at night, so you can be energized when you wake up on them in the morning. It will help you be able to rise. Okay, those nightly showers. Okay, because the pollution is heavy. I seen it. Okay, it weighs us down. You have no idea the amount of pollution that you come in contact with every day in these industrial cities. Okay, so showering at night is important. Okay, going down to the water. You know, going down to the beach, whether it's the beach or the river, and just communing in that atmosphere. Now, again, some beaches and not necessarily seas, but some rivers are contaminated because, again, they're polluted. A lot of these companies are dumping pollutants into these bodies of water. So do know that some rivers and some oceans, there is benefits, but it might not be great. It's going to be great benefits, but just know some of the areas are polluted, and you'll know and you'll feel, and then just try to find you another space if those rivers and oceans are polluted. Okay, that's the power of water, the power of the air, the power of the sun. Okay, now we need to talk about the power of the earth. Okay, just taking your shoes off and standing on earth is wonderful, does wonders for the body. Recalibration. Okay, they call it grounding. Do some research on it. Okay, another thing is just putting your hands to the ground or just talking to mother. You know, throwing seeds out there every day. You know, when we throw seeds out, the birds come and they collect it. So all the seeds coming from your fruit, you throw them back out there. Let the birds take them and travel them and plant them and do what they need to do with. These are the helper. These are the nature spirits that help to keep regeneration going on the planet. Don't be fooled. People talk about the destruction of the planet. The planet ain't going nowhere. As of recently, too, like I just told you, I've been connecting with the plants. They've been grabbing and holding me. Another thing that has been taking a hold of me and bringing awareness to me is the genomes, right? GNOMES. Those are the nature spirits, the trolls, the smurfs, the fairies. They have been coming in contact with me as well and letting me be known of their presence. So their job is to obviously, once we throw those seeds out there, they get them to where they need to be and replant them. They are the busy bees. They are the workers of nature. You know, so we have to give honor and respect to them too, because the food that we are receiving is due to their work. You know, this is a cycle of life. This is a command. You know, we all are in it together. You know, we all working together for the regeneration and for the maintenance of our planet. Okay, so yeah, throw foods out there. Give offerings to the nature spirits. They like stuff. Put a little honey out there sometime. Feed your birds. Put a little thing on your tree and put some seeds out there for them. You know, because they're busy working to ultimately take care of you. Okay, what else did I want to say? So we just dealt with the earth, we just dealt with fire, the sun, the atmosphere, air, and water. Yes, so this is the powers of nature and how they can energize you, how they can take care of you, and keep you balanced. So I believe I said everything that I wanted to say in this video. With that being said, I hope you've learned something. Remember to take it easy. It's not a sprint. It's not a race. You know, be kind and be gentle to yourself, okay? Be kind and be gentle. It's all the little steps that we take every day that ultimately create the change. Love you guys. Peace.